That evening, Marina realized one simple thing. Sometimes, love doesn't end when a person stops loving you. Sometimes, love ends when being around someone makes it impossible to remain yourself. She stood in the middle of the huge bedroom she had once considered her home and looked at the man she had married 3 years earlier. Alexey was sitting at his desk, going through some documents. Calm, composed, cold, as if the woman standing before him wasn't the person he had once called the most important person in his life. "Are you really going to leave?" he asked, without even looking up. Marina clenched her fingers. "Yes." "Over this stupidity?" She looked at him. "It's not stupidity." "Marina, you're pregnant, not terminally ill. Stop acting as if your life is over." She closed her eyes. There it was. That was exactly why she was leaving. Not because he shouted, not because he cheated, not because he hit her or openly insulted her. It was much worse. He simply never noticed your pain. Never. To Alexey, the pregnancy was an inconvenience. The baby was a project. And Marina was a woman who was supposed to fit his idea of what a proper family should be. "I don't want to live like this anymore," she said quietly. Alexey finally looked at her. "Like what?" "Like I constantly have to earn the right to be with you." He smirked. "You're being dramatic." Marina felt something inside her finally break. She had been waiting for something else from him. At least one word. Stay. Just one. But Alexey merely put his pen down. "Where will you go?" "I don't know." "You don't have a job?" "I'll find one." "You barely have any money." "I'll manage." "You're pregnant." "I know." "And you're still leaving?" Marina looked at him. "That's exactly why." He frowned. "What does that mean?" She didn't answer, because if she did, she would have to tell him the whole truth. And she still couldn't say it out loud. Marina picked up her suitcase. There were very few things inside. A few dresses, her documents, an old photograph, and a small envelope she had hidden in the inside pocket. Alexey watched her. "If you walk out now, there will be no going back." She stopped at the door. Once, those words would have frightened her. Today, they didn't. "I know." She walked out, and for the first time in 3 years, she closed the door behind her. Not knowing that a year later, this same man would be standing outside the door of her new apartment, begging her to let him in. Not knowing that for the first time, he would understand the value of the woman he had once believed would always be his. And not knowing that behind that door would already be standing a little girl with his eyes. A year earlier, Marina had been certain she had married the most reliable man in the world. Alexey was successful, 34 years old, owner of his own construction company, an apartment in the city center, a country house, a car most men could only dream of. He knew how to make decisions. He knew how to negotiate. He knew how to get what he wanted. That was exactly what had attracted Marina to him. She had met him at work. At the time, she was an ordinary manager at a small company, while Alexey had come to them as a representative of a major client. He noticed her immediately. Not because she was the most beautiful woman in the office. Marina had never considered herself beautiful. But she had dark hair, calm brown eyes, and a habit of listening carefully to whoever was speaking. After the meeting, Alexey asked for her number. 2 weeks later, they started dating. 7 months later, he proposed. And 6 months after that, they got married. The first few months were almost perfect. Alexey brought her coffee in the morning, called her during the day, picked her up from work. On weekends, they would leave the city. He used to say, "I want you to never need anything." And Marina believed him. She thought that was what love was. Until one day, she realized that control was slowly hiding beneath his care. At first, it was little things. "Don't wear that dress. I don't like your friend, Sveta. Why do you need to work so late? I know what's best." Then he began making decisions for her. What furniture to buy, where to go, who to talk to, when to have children. In a year, he would say, "Now isn't the right time." But the baby came sooner. When Marina saw the 2 lines on the pregnancy test, she cried with happiness. She sat on the edge of the bathtub for a long time, pressing her hand against her stomach. The baby was wanted, at least by her. That evening she cooked dinner. Alexey came home late. "We need to talk," Marina said. "About what?" She handed him a small box. Inside was the pregnancy test. He looked at it, then at her. "You're pregnant?" Marina smiled through her tears. "Yes." He was silent for too long. "Is that a problem?" she asked. No, but his face told her that it was. 3 months later, Marina heard something from him for the first time that she would never forget. They were having dinner at Alexey's parents' house. His father, Viktor Andreevich, his mother, Elena Sergeyevna, his sister Olga and her husband were sitting around the table. Marina could barely eat. She felt nauseous. She put down her fork. "What, being difficult again?" Olga asked. "I feel a little sick." Elena Sergeyevna smirked. "Pregnancy isn't an illness." Marina said nothing. Alexey continued eating. "Marina doesn't do anything anymore," he suddenly said. She looked at him. "What?" "The house is a mess. I cleaned today." "Right. Apparently that's an achievement for you now." The table fell silent. Marina felt heat rush to her cheeks. "Alexey?" "What?" "Please don't." He shrugged. "I'm just telling the truth." Elena Sergeyevna smiled. "It's hard for a man right now. He has work, business, responsibility. A woman should at least make the home comfortable." Marina lowered her eyes. Olga quietly laughed. "Lyosha, it's your own fault. You spoiled her." Marina wanted to stand up, but Alexey grabbed her wrist. Hard. "Sit." One word, and she sat down. That night she was silent in the car. Alexey was driving. "Are you upset?" Marina stared out the window. "Yes." "About what?" She turned towards him. You humiliated me in front of your family. Oh God, here we go again. You could have said it at home. What did I even say? You said I do nothing. Do you? Marina felt tears rising in her throat. I'm pregnant. So? I don't feel well. All women give birth. She turned away. I'm not all women. Alexey smirked. Exactly. You think too much of yourself. That night, Marina slept in a separate room for the first time. The next morning, she saw a message on her phone from an unknown number. If you want to know the truth about your husband, ask him where he was on March 14th. Marina read the message 3 times, then deleted it. But a few minutes later, another message arrived. And ask who Diana is. Diana. Marina had never heard that name before. She didn't want to believe a stranger, but anxiety had already taken root inside her. A few days later, she accidentally saw a message on Alexey's phone. You promised she would never find out. Marina froze. Alexey was in the shower. His phone was lying on the kitchen table. She didn't want to look. Really, she didn't. But her hand reached for it anyway. There were only a few messages. When will you tell her? Not now. She deserves to know. I said not now. No name, no explanation. Marina put the phone down. That evening she asked, Who is Diana? Alexey froze. Only for a second, but Marina noticed. Where did you hear that name? Just answer me. Where did you hear it? Answer me. He snapped irritably. Diana is a former employee. That's all? Yes. Then why did she say I need to know the truth? Alexey looked at her. Because she's unstable. Marina felt relieved. For a little while. A week later, Diana called. Marina? Yes? I need to meet you. Why? Because Alexey is lying to you. Marina closed her eyes. About what? There was a pause on the other end. About your child. Marina stopped breathing. What? Let's meet tomorrow. No, now. Diana gave her the name of a cafe. Marina arrived 40 minutes later. The woman sitting by the window looked exhausted. Did you know your husband was planning to take your child away from you? Marina went pale. What? Diana placed a folder in front of her. He was preparing the paperwork. Why? Because he believes you're incapable of raising a child. Marina opened the folder. There were printouts, reports, photographs, information about her job, even records of how many times she had visited a doctor. Where did you get this? Alexey has been collecting everything for almost 4 months. But why? Diana looked directly into her eyes. He was planning to divorce you after the baby was born. Marina felt the whole world sway. Why? Diana looked away. Because he needed the child more than he needed you. Marina returned home late. Alexey was waiting for her. Where were you? Out? With whom? Alone. He studied her carefully. You're lying. Marina froze. Why would you think that? Because you never lie. She smiled bitterly. Then maybe you don't know me very well. He stepped closer. What happened? Marina looked into his eyes. Do you want to take my child away from me? His expression changed, just slightly, but it was enough. Who told you? Marina felt everything inside her turn cold. So it's true. Marina, you collected documents against me? I had to be prepared. For what? For anything that might happen. You thought I was a bad mother before our child was even born? I thought you were emotionally unstable. She stepped back. Because I cried? Because you changed. I'm pregnant! Exactly. Marina stared at him and suddenly realized she no longer recognized the man standing before her. You don't love me. Alexey said nothing. You only love the Marina who agreed with you. He turned away. Don't talk nonsense. I'm leaving. He turned sharply. Where? None of your business. You can't just take my child away. And you can't just take my life away. She went into the bedroom and closed the door. An hour later, Alexey left. Marina took the suitcase she had already packed in advance out of the closet. She still didn't know where she would go, but she knew one thing. She had to save herself and her child. Marina went to her old friend Sveta. Sveta opened the door at 2 in the morning. She saw the suitcase, saw the tear-streaked face, and asked nothing. She simply hugged her. I knew you would come to me one day. Marina burst into tears. A month later, she rented a small apartment, not in the city center, not beautiful, old, with peeling paint on the walls. But it had one thing that mattered: silence. No one told her when to go to bed. No one checked her phone. No one made her feel guilty for being pregnant. She found remote work as an accountant. She worked evenings. She saved money wherever she could. Sometimes she wanted to go back, especially at night. She missed Alexey, his voice, his hands, the man she had once loved. But every time she remembered his words, "You think too much of yourself," and forced herself to move forward. Her daughter was born early one November morning. Marina held her in her arms and cried. Hello, Anya. The little girl breathed softly. I promise I'll never leave you. She looked at the tiny face, and for the first time in many months, she smiled for real. The first few months were difficult. Marina barely slept. She worked at night, took care of her daughter during the day. Sveta helped whenever she could. Alexey barely appeared. Sometimes he texted, How is she? Marina replied briefly, Fine. He didn't come over. He didn't demand to see her. He didn't cause scenes. And gradually, Marina began to think it was all over. But 8 months after Anya was born, he came. He was standing near the playground. Marina noticed him immediately. He looked different, thinner, tired, without his usual confidence. Hi. What are you doing here? I wanted to see my daughter. Marina looked at Anya. You could have asked. I know. Then why didn't you? He lowered his eyes. Because I was afraid. Marina gave a bitter laugh. You? Yes. Afraid of what? That you would say no. She said nothing. Alexey stepped closer. She looks like you. No, she looks like you. For the first time, he smiled. Then she has beautiful eyes. Marina felt her heart ache. She hated it. Hated that one look from him could still hurt her. Go, Alexey. He nodded. Okay. And he left. But the next day, he sent her a message. I want to fix what I did. She didn't answer. A few weeks later, Alexey began coming regularly. He didn't demand anything. He didn't pressure her. He simply showed up. He brought diapers, baby food, books, toys. One day, Marina said, "You don't need to buy everything." I want to. She's still little. Then I'll buy things for you. Marina smiled despite herself. Don't. Why? Because you don't owe me anything. Alexey looked at her. I do. For what? For making you unhappy. She turned away. You can't change the past. I know. Then why are you trying? He was silent for a long time. Because for the first time, I understand what I lost. Marina said nothing. Gradually, they began talking, not as husband and wife, as two people who had once known each other better than anyone. He talked about work. She talked about Anya. Sometimes they went for walks together. One day, Alexey came with flowers. Why? Just because. You never used to give me flowers just because. I used to be an idiot. She looked at him. Used to? He smiled. I'm still learning. Marina laughed, and in that moment, for the first time in a year, she felt something other than pain. Warmth. It was dangerous. Very dangerous. Because somewhere deep inside, she still loved him. Everything fell apart with one phone call. Marina was in the kitchen. Alexey was in the room with Anya. Her phone rang. She answered. Hello? Marina? Yes? It's Diana. Marina froze. What happened? I found out Alexey is coming to see you again. Yes. Don't trust him. Marina's heart began beating faster. Why? He met with me a month ago. Marina looked into the room. Alexey was laughing as he played with their daughter. Why? Diana sighed heavily. He asked me to help him with some documents. What documents? Custody papers. Marina closed her eyes. You're sure? Yes. She hung up. A few minutes later, Alexey came out of the room. Is everything okay? Marina looked at him. Are you preparing custody papers again? He froze. Who told you? She smiled bitterly. So it's true. Marina, listen to me. I've already listened to you. Everything has changed. No, it hasn't. I wanted to protect Anya. From whom? From you. She went pale. Then why did you keep coming here? I realized I was wrong. And the documents? I prepared them before I realized it. And when did you realize? He was silent. When you realized you might lose me for good. Alexey didn't answer. Marina nodded. Leave. Marina. Leave. Let me explain. No. She opened the door. This time, I won't wait for you to decide whether I deserve your trust. Alexey stood motionless. I love you. Marina looked into his eyes. And I don't know if I love you anymore. The door closed. After that, Marina disappeared from his life. She changed her phone number, moved, didn't give him her address. Alexey didn't know where she was. For the first few weeks, he tried to find her. Then he stopped. For the first time, he was alone. The house that had once seemed like a symbol of success now felt empty. He walked past the room that had been prepared for Anya. There was a crib, toys, tiny pink clothes, but the little girl wasn't there, and neither was Marina. One night, Alexey sat on the floor beside the crib, and for the first time in his entire adult life, he cried. He realized something terrible. He hadn't lost Marina on the day she left. He had been losing her every day before that. Every time he said, I know what's best. Every time he humiliated her. Every time he made her doubt herself. He thought he was protecting his family. In reality, he was destroying it. But there was something else. Diana told him the truth, and Alexey finally understood what had started everything. 2 years after the wedding, Alexey's father confessed something he had hidden for years. The family business had not been built entirely through honest work. Part of the company belonged to a man Viktor Andreevich had once deceived. That man was Diana's father. After his death, Diana tried to recover the documents. At first, Alexey wanted to help her, but his father forbade him. You don't understand what's at stake. Alexey obeyed, and that was why Diana considered him a traitor. When she threatened to tell Marina, Alexey tried to stop her. He was afraid the scandal would destroy the company. But all that time, Marina thought the secret involved another woman. Alexey never explained. He was used to hiding problems, used to solving everything himself, used to believing that if he didn't tell his loved ones bad news, he was protecting them. That was his greatest mistake. He wasn't protecting them. He was protecting himself. Exactly 1 year after that night, Marina was sitting in a small cafe. Anya was drawing beside her. Mommy, look! She held up the drawing. There were 3 people on it. Mommy, Anya, and a man. Marina smiled. Who's that? Anya thought for a moment. Daddy. Marina froze. She had never spoken badly about her father to her daughter. Never. Do you remember him? A little. Marina stroked her hair. At that moment, Alexey walked into the cafe. She recognized him immediately. He stopped by the entrance. He didn't approach. He waited. Marina felt her heart begin to race. He looked completely different. No expensive suit, no watch, just a simple dark jacket. In his hands, he held a small envelope. Anya noticed him. Mummy? Marina looked at Alexey. He slowly approached. May I? Marina nodded. He sat across from her. I won't stay long. Okay. Alexey placed the envelope on the table. These are the documents for the house. Marina frowned. Why? It's in your name. Alexey, I don't want you to give anything back. She looked at him. I came to say something else. He took a breath. I don't want to be your husband anymore. Marina froze. What? Because I understand that I have no right to ask you to come back. Tears filled her eyes. Then why did you come? He looked at Anya. Because I want to be her father. Then he looked back at Marina. And if one day you can forgive me, I would like to become the kind of man beside whom you never have to be afraid again. Marina was silent. I'm not asking you to come back today. When then? Never, if you don't want to. For the first time, she heard the words she had been waiting for all those years. You get to choose. Alexey stood up. I'll go. Unexpectedly, Anya grabbed his hand. Daddy, stay. He looked at Marina. She closed her eyes. Stay for dinner, she said. He sat back down, and for the first time they spent an evening without the past standing between them. Several more months passed. Alexey didn't rush her. He didn't demand anything. He never asked, when are you coming back? He was simply there. He picked Anya up from kindergarten, helped with repairs, fixed a broken cabinet. Sometimes he brought Marina coffee. Sometimes they talked until late at night. But now he listened. One day Marina said, You know what I was most afraid of? What? That one day you would stop loving me. Alexey lowered his eyes. And I was afraid that one day you would realize you could live without me. And did you realize it? Yes. He looked at her. You can. Marina smiled. And that's exactly why I want you to be with me, not because you need me, but because I choose to. Yes. She looked at him for a long time. Then I choose to try. Alexey couldn't believe it. What? I'm not promising I'll forget everything. You don't have to. I'm not promising I'll never be afraid again. I know. And I'm not promising trust will come back quickly. He nodded. I'm willing to wait. Marina took his hand. Then let's start over. He squeezed her fingers. From 0? No. She smiled through her tears. From experience. But the past didn't let them go so easily. A few weeks later, Viktor Andreevich tried to interfere. You can't destroy the family because of this woman, he told his son. Alexey looked at his father. I destroyed the family. She left you because I did everything I could to make her leave. You're going to let her come back and control you again. Alexey smirked. No. Then what has changed? He answered calmly. Now I don't try to control her. His father fell silent. You chose her over your family? Alexey shook his head. No. Then who did you choose? He looked at a photograph of Marina and Anya. I chose my family. Viktor Andreevich turned away. You'll regret it. Maybe. And still? Yes. Because for the first time, Alexey was making a decision not for money, not for his reputation, not for someone else's approval, but for the people he loved. He revealed the truth about the old conflict involving Diana's father. The company suffered serious losses, but Alexey restored justice. And for the first time, Marina saw not the husband she had once known, but a man who had truly changed. A year after their first meeting following the separation, Marina stood by the window. Snow was falling outside. Anya was sleeping in the next room. Alexey was cooking dinner. He had not lived in her apartment for a long time. But now he had a key. Not because he had taken it. Marina had given it to him herself. He came out of the kitchen. "It's ready." "What?" "Dinner." She smiled. "You cooked?" "Yes." "Then I'm scared." He laughed. "Very funny." Marina walked toward him. "Alexey?" "Hmm?" She held out her hand. There was a ring on her finger. The same one. The one she had taken off the night she left. He looked at it. I don't want to go back to that marriage." He frowned. "Neither do I. But I want to marry you again." For several seconds he simply stared at her. "Marina. Only this time, everything will be different." "Of course. You won't make decisions for me. I won't. You won't stay silent when something is wrong. I won't. And you will never again tell me that I think too much of myself." He smiled. "Never." Marina rested her head on his shoulder. "I left you while I was pregnant because I thought I was saving our child." Alexey wrapped his arms around her. "And I lost you because I thought I was protecting our family." She looked up at him. "Sometimes we only understand love when we lose the right to have it." "And sometimes we're given a second chance." Marina smiled. "Only a second." "Why?" "Because I won't give you a third." He laughed and held her tighter. In the next room, Anya stirred. "Mommy?" "What is it, sweetheart?" "Is Daddy staying tonight?" Marina looked at Alexey. He didn't answer. He waited for her decision. She smiled. "Yes." Anya ran out of the room and threw her arms around them. Alexey knelt down and hugged his daughter. Marina watched them and felt a strange sense of peace. Not the kind that exists in fairy tales. Not perfect. Real. Because now she knew. Love isn't when one person becomes another person's entire world. Love is when two people remain separate worlds, yet choose every day to walk beside each other. Once, she had closed the door on the man she loved. A year passed. He came back, asking for a second chance. And she gave it, not to the Alexey who had once promised to make her happy. She gave it to the man who had finally understood. You cannot give someone happiness if you have not first learned to respect their freedom. Alexey took her hand. Anya hugged them both. And Marina suddenly realized that for the first time in many years, she wasn't afraid to look toward the future. Because now, the future wasn't a promise. It was a choice. And this time, they made it together.